Good morning. Today is the 12th of June 2028, and I'm going to go through my pre-market prep. It's also SPACEX's rather potentially overhyped IPO today as well, so it'd be interesting to see how the market moves. So I don't trade IPOs, nor do I have any interest in taking any contracts or shares of SPACEX at the moment. Probably I will look to invest in them long term, but I'll let it settle down for a few days, see where the market is with that. I was stung a while back when Coin was IPO'd and didn't know any better. I got in at the very high, thinking, falling for the hype, and then it sold off for about 3 months. So lost a fair bit there, and I don't really know how to trade IPOs, so I'm happy to sit there, enjoy the show. I've got my empty SPACEX chart open with no data, so it'd be interesting to see how that fills up later. So I'm going to put it on my 5-minute candle. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So good morning to everyone. Good morning to Craig. Good morning to Mayo. Craig says meant to type Paul. I knew that. Don't worry. Thank you. Remember, as yesterday was a tough day for some of us, it was a really volatile day. Market was moving fast, really fast. Even for ES felt like it was moving like NQ. Just if you had a tough rough day yesterday, then today just size down or don't trade at all. Go into the weekend feeling good about yourself on maybe a break even, a sit on hands day. Remember, sit on hands is a good position to be in as well. It means you haven't made a loss. The market's in an interesting place right now. I'm going to start off with the daily. So as it's the end, I'm going to start off with the weekly because it's the last day of the week. We had a big red week last week on average volume, and then we've had this indecision week despite having a green day yesterday. We are smack back inside that area of confidence, right on that volume shelf as well on the weekly. So it'd be interesting to see how we finish today. Are we going to put in a new low today, break yesterday's low, then maybe we might finish red? Are we going to put in a new high today, break yesterday's high, and then we might put in a green day? Volume is already higher volume, but look at that indecision though. So for me, higher volume, top and tail, bottom tail candle, that is indecision, and that means buyers and sellers are in the market at the moment. We've got levels in place in case we do witness a bit of a sell-off. 7,000 is a key area. There's nothing above its all-time highs, and that is no man's land, so nothing really exciting. We've got 7,500, half psychological number as well. And we do have this big red bar, which we could say is our control bar. If we hold below that bar and close below there, maybe we might see a bit of a pullback next week. We are still extended from the weekly 50, and RSI is kind of up there as well in the top half of the RSI. So there's not much more really to talk about on the weekly. Dropping down to the daily. Yesterday was a pretty solid green candle. A few sellers came in. We put in a new low when we were looking at this downtrend. Looked good to continue down. We bounced off this 50 moving average. That's why I keep these 50s in place. I don't use it as a support area or resistance area, but it's as a guide. We're still holding institutional support at the moment while we're above that 50. And we had a big green day on increased volume as well. RSI's back down in that 50% area as well. So I'm remaining neutral on the daily. Are we setting up this head and shoulders pattern? Potentially. Depends where you want to draw it. We could even have a slightly lopsided neckline. Maybe that's our head and shoulders pattern. Again, it's open to interpretation. We were having it there. But it depends on where we can draw the trend line and where that neckline goes. This would be a great neckline as well because we've got that 50 moving average down there. If we lose that area, then potentially we're seeing a change around. So let's see what happens today with the IPO, whether that affects the market. Looking at the chart technicals, we got a volume shelf above, happens to be on that right left shoulder. Keep an eye on that 7,500. We just talked about that. A little bit of volume shelf above there as well. That confidence area is 7,600. The big volume shelf nearest to us right now is this big area of confidence all the way around where we are market is right now. So 7,400 for me is a bounce area. If we hold that area, I like it for the long. Maybe to put in that right shoulder. If we lose that area, I like it for a short. If we lose 7,400, we have a bit of a volume void before we hit our next volume shelf. and that's that area of confidence. We haven't yet got down to that 7,200, 7,150. Looking at the volume, we've had big red days with higher volume than normal. We are getting a lot of volume coming in here, so lots of volatility. So I'm remaining neutral at the moment. We are inside yesterday's range just about. If we break out, we can treat that as a trending day. Not really a trending day, but more of a slightly more than a scalp. But I'm remaining scalpy because we are sitting inside this region up here, which potentially could be a stage 3 market. Remember the market stages? We got stage 1, this is inverse head and shoulders pattern. Then we got stage 2, where the buyers come in. We got stage 3, head and shoulders pattern, and then we got stage 4. So maybe this is a stage 3. It's not a reaccumulation where we put in a new high, and if so, we may see a stage 4 later. But that's just we don't know that until it happens. So it's just a long-term overview. So let's drop down to the hourly, get some levels for today. Our trend line we've been holding pretty well for the last week. We broke yesterday, and look at that, we didn't just break it, we came back and we retested. How accurate is that trend line to do that? We literally came back and touched it. I've not adjusted anything. This is exactly what the level was yesterday, the trend line I put in. And again, I base it on the top 2 candles, and it happens to flow through the others, and it uses as a good trend line. If we're looking for an entry, there's no way we would have found an entry down. I don't think there was an entry. News just drove it up. But this is a pullback we could have waited for. I don't trade this late in the day, but that's why we draw these trend lines, and that's why we keep an eye on these patterns as well. Is this an inverse head and shoulders pattern with our neckline? If so, maybe we can see a bounce back down here at the break and retest of the neckline, 7,300. You could even say the neckline's a bit further up at 7,375. We have retested that area, pre-market low. We do have volume in this area, a fair bit of volume, but it's, let's just zoom out and get a bigger picture. But when we're looking at volume shelves, look at that massive volume shelf, exactly where we are right now. So this is a key area. Either we're going to hold and hover around this area, and we're going to break out on good volume. If we see weak volume breaking out, I won't be too convinced. Or we're going to lose that area, and we're going to see increased volume from the sellers breaking down. Notice also, this is our left shoulder, this is our head, this is our right shoulder. Are we looking at a break and retest of that area? It's not invalidated until we break 7,500 region. So that's potentially what we could look out for. We could draw this trend line in as well. If we break that trend line, look for the short. Let's go back a bit closer. Trend line, depends where you want to draw it. It's probably around there. It's not really much of a trend line until we start putting in some higher highs, higher lows. But if we do lose pre-market low, I like it for a potential short. Let's just get some levels for today. We are potentially looking at this inverse head and shoulders pattern here. We could also, I like this 7,400 for a bounce. We are bouncing from there right now. If we can get over pre-market, I like it long into 7,500. That's also a rejection point all the way up to this area of confidence, 75.25 down to 7,500. So this is a area we can watch for a target long, or if we get into that area and we look for the rejection, we can also draw in our trend line, draw that trend line in. Lo and behold, the rejection might be exactly there. So keep an eye on this zone for potential rejection based on that trend line and volume shelf and psychological number and area confidence, tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, bottoms of pivots. Maybe this is a top of a pivot, could do that. So that's a key area to watch for today. If we lose pre-market low, I like it for a short, break and retest short below 73.75 to 73.400. We'll be losing this volume shelf. Otherwise, we can keep an eye on 7,300. Haven't really held that area. We kind of came close. We lost it, came back up, retested it, lost it, retested it. So it's not a very good area, but I prefer watching the previous 3 days areas. This is around 72.60, 72.50 for potential bounce. We got down there on, was that Monday? Tuesday, big reaction. Wednesday, big reaction, although it was in lower volume and aftermarket. And we came down into that zone again on yesterday, and we had another big reaction. So I do quite like seeing that zone. We talked about this reaction zone yesterday. We got a bigger reaction, not quite as big as this candle, but we've got a big reaction. So let's keep an eye on a potential bounce down here. And I think that's pretty much it. There's not a real great deal to do while we're sitting inside this big area of confidence and inside that volume shelf. So just to remind you, I'm looking for longs over potentially yesterday's high, break and retest long. We could be retesting right now. Otherwise, I'm looking for shorts under 7,400. That's what I'll be looking for on the open today. That 7,400 is a key area. Again, I don't know how the IPO is going to affect things. So I will be sitting on hands as much as I can unless I see something really good set up, really juicy. SPY next. Doing pretty much the same as ES. We've broken the trend line. We're holding this zone down here. So that's an area to watch around 75.25. If we get above pre-market high, I like it long into the next zone, 750. Otherwise, I like it short, retesting that zone back down around 730, 740, 737. Pretty much the same as ES. SPX is putting in a similar pattern as well. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Let's see where we open up. We're going to be opening up around about yesterday's high area. Notice the 50 moving average, that's quite significant. The 50 moving average and the 200 moving average. Are we going to lose the 200? I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that. If we do, then potentially we'll be looking for maybe a starting of a downtrend, but we're kissing at the moment. So let's see whether we see a reaction today or Monday back down. Otherwise, we might just see 50 moving average do that again. Otherwise, keep an eye on these psychological lines: 7,300, 7,400, 75, and then you've got 7,200 below. Remember, SPX is more of a confirmation for me. I don't want to be going long into a level below. I don't want to be going short into a level above. NASDAQ next, looking pretty neutral on yesterday. Pretty much similar levels. I like this zone here for a potential bounce. 29,311. If we can get over yesterday's high, over pre-market high, I like it long into 30,000. Otherwise, while we're holding this big volume shelf, I like the short around this area. So maybe we'll keep an eye on pre-market low, break and retest at 29,331 short. 29,000 is a psychological number. Notice how we held it, we bounced, then we came in, we came close to it, bounced, then we lost it, came back up, rejected it, then we held it, then we rejected it again yesterday before finally taking it out. And then let's see what happens when we get back down to that 29,000 again. QQQ next. QQQ. We've got this trend line. If we break pre-market low, I like it short into that 700, 70, 700, 710 area. Notice that volume shelf, point of control runs through that area of confluence. Big reaction point. I'll start from over here. We bounced from there, we lost it, we came back, rejected it, came through, bounced from there, and we have yet to retest that area. So 710 is an area to watch for. Over yesterday's high, over pre-market high, I like it long. Below 710, I like it short. Next up is oil. Oil is now putting in this new downtrend. We've taken out this area. This is significant. Let me just zoom back out. Zoom back out again. So I've been rushing around today because I'm camping with the scouts tonight. So I've yet to pack my cases. I haven't packed my case, packed my bag and stuff for the scout camp. I'm going away next week as well. I'm not packed for that. I run another business in the morning, IT related. And because I'm away, I was trying to get everything done, ready, so that I don't have any stress next week. Today I'll be looking forward to sitting around the campfire and not worrying about what I've got on. Hopefully sitting around it thinking about how good today went. But look at this for a big pattern. So that's just a reminder. I won't be on very long today, probably half an hour or so, see what we can do in the market. This is a nice pattern we've got there. We've got this big volume shelf as well. We were holding it, and then we finally lost it. For me, I like the rejection back up off the bottom of that trend line. We are now breaking trend line, breaking this zone. So for me, a rejection off 91.50, short. For trend continuation, I want to see it break down below pre-market low, retest that 76 area. Oil's looking weaker at the moment. We've taken out the last few pivots as well, the last 3 pivots. So for me, I do like it short. The only bounce point I can see is probably this area confluence there, probably this area down here, so around 80 down to 70, 77 for a bounce, or for a long if we get down there, or target if we're coming down there. Gold also is nosediving at the moment, but it's having a bit of a recovery right now into that pivot area. Let's just zoom out and get a bigger picture. For me, if we get back up into this zone around 4,300, I like it for the rejection based on that big volume shelf. We've got another volume shelf sitting at 4,000. Let's draw that in. 4,063, 4,463, that area there. So I like this zone. Basically, this zone I like for a rejection. If we come into there, I like it short. Otherwise, if we break pre-market low, I like trend continuation back down. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, there's a nice... I'm not a big fan of this 50 moving average below. We have broken it. Maybe we're showing a break of trend line. Look, notice that trend line is broken and we're holding it. So below pre-market low, look forward short. If we break above pre-market high, we're breaking both yesterday's high and pre-market high. We want to break that pivot as well. Over 42.50, the level we've got in play for a long into that point of control area. So that's what I like, long on gold over 42.50. RTY, good morning to 212. Welcome back. RTY next. We got this zone right here. So for me, we want to see this breakout on volume. We didn't have much volume yesterday. It's mediocre. If we see it on the daily, it might be a bit different. Let's have a look on the daily. Daily volume. Notice the wide range candle, big solid green candle, less volume than the previous 2 days. So not a convincing breakout by the bulls. We are coming into that area there as well. So let's see where if we break out of it on volume. So I want to see increased volume today on a breakout. Then it looks good for a long. Otherwise, let's look for a bounce back down at 2,800. That's the daily chart back to the hourly. We've got 10 minutes before the market opens. So for me, I like this area down here. Yesterday's low for a bounce. We can keep an eye on pre-market low for break and retest as well. We do have a little bit of volume coming in around that 28.80, but for me, this is the area to watch for a bounce. If we get above pre-market, I like it long over 29.54. Any targets above? No, that'd be all-time highs. I would put a new all-time high yesterday as well, so no man's land above. So YM next. This 58 key area. We talked about this. We held it, then we lost it. Yesterday we broke of it, came back and retested it in the post market, broke above yesterday's high. I like the back. We've already bounced off yesterday's high 51, but if we come back down to 51, I like it long. I also like that 50,837 long as well. Otherwise, if we lose this trend line, that area there, that's a difficult area to put it. That zone there, maybe this area. Basically, we lose 51, 58,800. That zone there, I like it for a break and retest short underneath that area. We need to get way below pre-market low and retest it, basically. And then finally, Bitcoin. Are we putting in this flag? Notice this pattern. We're coming back up. We're holding that area. So same as the previous stock, oil, where we were holding the lows, we're holding the highs this area. A break over pre-market high long into 6.7, I like it long. If we lose pre-market low and yesterday's low, I like it short to continue this downtrend. And I think that's pretty much it. I talked yesterday about the cycles of Bitcoin. Let me just see if I've got that image still. This image, here we go. So look at this. So this is the 1,600 day followed by a 360 day cycle. We generally have 360 days of a downtrend followed by 1,060 days of an uptrend, and then 360, 1,060, 360, 1,060, and then we're currently halfway through that 360, which suggests that we've got a lot of movement back down. We could potentially be looking at that 3,800 area. So going back to Bitcoin on the daily, on the weekly,
we may not be finished on this downtrend yet. So just something to bear in mind is a good, I like looking at history on the charts because I like to think history repeats itself. Everything's repeatable patterns. And if we still got until November, October time, and we're still in that downtrend, we could be putting a series of lower lows, lower highs, and we could be looking at this area, this point of control area, pretty much down around 40,000. So potentially we may not see an end just yet of this downtrend, but you see interest where we go. But maybe keep an eye down here if we are going to sell off. But on the short term, I do like to bounce around this area. But if we do set up that bear flag we were just talking about, this flag pattern here, oh, draw it again, this pattern like that, this might be just a little bit of a pullback. We'll keep an eye on volume and then we might just break down. So keep an eye on that area. Interesting to see that historic bear and bull on Bitcoin. So let's go back to ES. We've got 5 minutes till the market opens. Let's flick over to, let's get rid of that. Let's flick over to order flow. See where we are. We're looking pretty bullish here at the moment. Higher highs, higher lows on the delta. Prices putting in some higher lows around here as well. Big volume at the bottom here on the bottom tail. Is that ending volume? Maybe. Big orders sitting on the book at the moment. 73, 73, 74, 40, 75. So nothing really nearby. Pre-market, we put in a lower high, potentially. Is this a pre-market head and shoulders pattern there? Maybe we got our rejection area 74.35. Again, I like the bounce at 7400. That's already gone. Could I have found an entry? I saw it happening as we started earlier. Let's go back down to 9. See whether we could have found an entry on the footprint chart. So we came into 7400. Yeah, look at that. A delta flip as well at a key level. So we had small aggressive selling coming into that area, followed by 215 aggressive buying delta. And look at the delta changing from smaller, weak, sellers are getting weaker and weaker, buyers are getting stronger and stronger. I generally don't like jumping in on a delta flip, but I would look for a break, a little pullback. That could have been my entry here. Lack of sellers in that candle as well. We could have, we had 770. Could have gone long on the break of that candle. Would have it finished off. I'm not sure where we are right now. It would have been a tough long. We would have held it, came back and retested the entry, and yeah, it would have worked eventually. So that was a good signal, and that would have worked. Here's another delta flip here. Basically, my delta flip indicator or signal on here looks for weakness from sellers, like this previous candle. Lack of sellers. The delta's getting weaker as well. There was no buyers in that candle, but then it looks for strength from buyers at a swing high or a swing low as well. So again, it's useful confirmation. I would probably ignore that one, but I would pay attention to that one because it's buyer's psychological number and the level we were watching for long. So that is a perfectly working delta flip, and that's exactly what I look for. And that's why we have these hourly levels in place and pre-market low, yesterday's low, etc. Because gives us an extra edge knowing what to look for in advance. Craig says, not sure if you saw my message in Discord, but I recovered my $900 loss from yesterday. Good job, well done. Well done, that's really good. I would have personally walked away after going down after a few trades. So maybe we can use that. You can use that as a lesson, hopefully a lesson learned. And that you hopefully won't get in that position again. You've got to make sure you manage your risk. You know, I took a loss yesterday, and I think it was 4 trades I think I took overall. One was a couple of small winners and 2 stop outs, and I ended the day down, but I just walked away. Could have easily just sat all day trying to make it back. But good job you did. So Craig said he walked away and got back on in the PM session. Yeah, good job. So market opens in 2 minutes. Like I said, I'm only going to be around not very long today, only because I've got to sort out all my camping stuff. But I just want to be around. I may not even trade, but if something sets up, I'll keep an eye out. Yesterday was a hard day. The market moved quickly, even on ES. Also good, the World Cup started. Anybody see the opening games yesterday? I saw the Mexico game. I saw the first half. I think I mentioned a few days ago, I was invited to an all-you-can-drink beer and nachos, and I only had 2 beers, but it was a good night. We stayed till half time. The kids were tired. It's late here in the UK, so we stayed till about 9 p.m. So it kicked off at 8 p.m. But there's some games kicking off at like 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. really, really late. Hopefully, none of the England games will be that late. I think the latest ones we've got at 10 p.m. So looking forward to it. I love watching the World Cup. Market opens in 20 seconds. If anything exciting happens on SPACEX, we can talk about that as well. But like I said, I'm not going to be trading it. I'm happy to watch it. I'll be interested how it moves the markets. So I'm just zooming in. Market is literally about to open. A very slow opening candle. Not much volume coming into it, or not much delta, very neutral. Plus 12, plus 20, plus 90 at a high here. This is a pivot high. I'm not sure how long it takes for SPACEX to come on, whether they come on at the same time or whether, look at this selling off, or whether it comes on a bit later. So Mary said, I don't watch football, but I saw something about Mixless and that 17-year-old. Wow, so young. I'm an Arsenal fan here in England, and who are now champions this year, first time in 22 years. And they had a 16-year-old playing, and a 16-year-old boy is picked as the youngest ever to win the Premier League. So that's pretty impressive. He's still at school, he is. So a bit of a sell-off on this candle. Some big selling deltas coming in. Small positive deltas. Again, bigger selling, small positive. Doesn't look good for long at the moment. 7,400 below. SPX opened just below yesterday's high, sold off. Okay, we've got small deltas at the moment. Hard to read the market at the moment. 3 aggressive buyers, 2 aggressive buyers, small negative delta, so not very convinced for a short. Look at this for aggressive sell right now. Potentially, I like the short here. We got a delta flip. I'm going to go short if we break that green pivot around 74.10, targeting 7,400. But we've got a big positive delta coming in here, so I'm going to sit back for a second. So there we go. Not a big fan of what's going on right now. It's pretty neutral. I'm just going to sit back. Mayo says SPACEX. I looked it up earlier. Anywhere between 9:50 to 11 a.m. Oh, okay. So this is that area I was watching for the rejection. Buyers in this candle, lack of sellers in this candle. I'm not a big fan of going short here, but we are putting in lower lows, and that is that break and retest we just talked about, potential head and shoulders. And then buyers are coming in now. Look at this. buying imbalances, only a 71 delta, only a 47, so lack of buying commitment at the moment. This could be a short here, actually. I like it for a short. I'm going to try a short. I was a little bit late in. I was hoping to get the bottom of this candle. Might be a quickest trade ever. Only 69 buyers, so there's a lack of buyers at the moment, even though I've still been stopped out. One aggressive buyer at the high. I like this big negative delta as well. Are we? No, not a big fan now. Big positive delta's coming in. We might put in a new lower low. Maybe there's a bit of rotation. People selling off their indices ready for SPACEX, making money for the open. Let's see whether we have a bit of a sell-off. Look, big aggressive delta. I like seeing that. Let's just see whether that delta is stronger than the buyers. Another negative delta, still looks good. But the buyers are holding it up here, absorbing all this selling. So we've got aggressive sellers coming in. So hopefully the sellers absorb all those buyers and then we see a big push down. Like I said, got my target 74.04. Hopefully we can get to that and get to break even. But massive aggressive selling candle, but with no response from the sellers. Do you know what? I'm going to close because I think I'm coming out of everything. I'm just looking at my rhythmic. Let me, hold on, I want to close everything. There's some funniness going on right now, so I'm going to get out. I actually made profit on that trade. I don't know how. I'm not going to take part in this. This is the second time I'm seeing a bit of a delay on my data coming in again. This is rhythmic. Okay, well, by fluke, I ended the day $140 up on some accounts. I should have made a loss. And when I came out, I noticed everything was long. I should have been short. So something not quite right happened then. So I'm wondering whether I noticed there was an update to NinjaTrader recently. So I'm going to take that as a win. I'm just looking at my rhythmic now. I don't normally look at my P&L, but I'm only using it because I use it to see what, when I was short, it said I was long. So something not quite right. 932, 936. Yeah, my chart's just not updated. But my TradeOvate data is fine. So it's got to be something to do with the data. That's a bit annoying. So I'm going to close my NinjaTrader for a second. It's Friday. It's probably going to ask me if I want to do a backup, which I don't. Just in case. I've not actually rebooted my machine all week. Just looking at the comments. Craig said, did you short? You shorted, but it put you in a long. Yeah. Oh, I can't load it. I'm waiting for it to shut down. You shorted, but it put you in a long. You made money and it put you in the opposite trade. It did, yeah.
And Andrew says, you look like 5 minutes delayed. The weird thing is, my other charts all seem okay. It's just my NinjaTrader. Yeah, my balance, all my balances are up, so that's okay. Not okay, because I don't like it when I'm not in control. I think I may have accidentally hit the back up my NinjaTrader platform, which takes ages because I've got so much development built into it. I meant to say no to back up, so I'm going to have to sit and wait. I don't want to force it to close. So you get to look at my lovely desktop screen. Let's put trading view on, so it's something to look at. So this is SPACEX at the moment, not doing much. This is a market, and that's probably not a bad idea. A good omen for me to not trade today and bugger off. You know, lots of volatility coming in, but TradeZella is holding up pretty well. In fact, that's not, and I've got I've got two footprint charts on that one. So I think it's down to NinjaTrader. Ever since the last update, I've had issues. So I might look at, see if there's anything, any code I'm running. Because obviously I develop on this machine and it's my NinjaTrader development platform. So remember, I like this 7400 for a bounce. I like the short into it, and I obviously think it did work by the looks of it, but I wasn't around. Let's just go to the 5 minute. There you go. That's a short I was trying to take on the open, and my short was spot on again, but my entry was out by 5 minutes. So, what I didn't do, I didn't check to see. I built a little widget into my charts. It tells me if I'm out of sync. Shouldn't need to do that. And the NinjaTrader is a brilliant platform as well. But maybe it's time for me to separate all my computers out. So I've got development, trading, video editing, all running their own machines. I've got two machines in here. One that's running my other charts, the other stream, and I've got this PC, which is my decent spec machine. 100 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte M.2 SATA, a decent i9 12-core processor. So it's definitely not down to processors. It's got to be the software. So we're getting a reaction right now. Look at that. Whatever just happened. I'll leave the SPACEX open on another screen. Let's create a new layout. We'll just call it Live Trading NQ and ES. Let's put ES on as well. Right, look at that first sell-off. We lost 7,400. Go back to this chart. I understand this one better. What news was this? Iran related? It makes my short look amazing now if I was still in it. Wow, look at that go. We're coming into pre-market low on both NASDAQ and ES right now.
There we go, pre-market low, not quite there on NASDAQ. Are we going to see a bounce? This is a level I was watching for a bounce actually on ES, 73.78, 73.75. Are we going to see a reaction here? Look at that for a reaction. I'm still, my NinjaTrader is still running, means it's still backing up. I just took a long on my NASDAQ top step. Just on that pre-market low bounce. I'm going to break even on that, so it's a risk-free trade, whatever happens. I'm up by about $300. I was trying to separate the screen so we can see both NASDAQ and ES. So NQ, there we go. And we go down to the 5 minute on both. Let's match that. Not a big fan of the colors. How do I reset it? Chart template, default. There we go. Chart template, default. That's better. Right, here we go. I wonder whether we can put volume footprint. Oh, look at that. I'm not a big fan of the footprints on TradingView. There we go, selling off even further now. That's NASDAQ. That's ES. Just while we're still waiting for my platform, we're still backing up. It takes ages. I wish I didn't click. I should have watched what I was doing. But that's fine. I don't want to get involved in this anyway. So NASDAQ's holding pre-market low. I'm not a big fan of these footprint charts on NinjaTrader on TradingView, I must say. Is that the only footprint? Okay. Seen a bit of a bounce down here. No, they won't let you do 10 range. 1 minute. Let's do 30-second footprint charts. There we go. Yeah, not a fan. Let's go back to candles. Hard to read. Not as good as my ones, my Footprint Pros. So looking at volume now, let's just zoom out and we can see the volume. Big aggressive selling candle, lots of volume. Decreasing volume from selling, decreasing volume from buyers. So, and then we had increased volume from the selling. What's going on with NASDAQ? Yeah, it's really hard to read right now.
Let's go back to the comments. Trump post, the written agreement does not match agreed terms. Okay. Another Trump tweet, said Andrew. And Sean says somebody leaked it. Craig says, be careful with that footprint because it's aggregated tick data and not real. And I know exactly, I'm not a big fan of it. And then 2 on 2, I like longs over 73.66. Value area high. Wait for confirmation. So he says 73.66. This is this area down here, yeah. So I feel naked without my order flow. Oh, look at that, selling. But we've got decreasing volume on the selling candles. I've still got order flow on my NASDAQ on my other stream, which I've got on one of my monitors, so I can still see a little bit what's going on. So we've got NASDAQ selling, Delta selling, ES prices selling, Delta's just starting to look like it might be recovering, potentially here for a long. And what was my levels? Oh, look at that. This is the area I'm watching for a long as well. Reason I like that, big area of confluence. Go to the hourly chart. We had a bounce down there. We had it held that area, rejected, and then we bounced again. So at the confluence area is why I liked it, 73, 75. SPACEX trading starts at 10 a.m. from 2 on 2. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that for 10 minutes. But we're smack bang inside yesterday's range now. If we were to find a trade, we want to break through that area. We've got this volume shelf, all this area. It's a tough area to get through. The least resistance area will be just selling off through lower, reducing volume. Watching. So you could just keep an eye on, I'll keep an eye on the SPACEX chart. We'll put that on screen. We can see what happens. Yeah. We've got buyers coming in now. The buying delta's coming in on ES, a little bit on NASDAQ. NASDAQ's holding up better than ES because ES is below pre-market low. NASDAQ's above pre-market low. Slightly stronger. You can see still backing up. News events are shown. That's my NinjaTrader. When that goes, the backup's complete. It takes a long time. Backup on my other machines instant, but I've got so many indicators and stuff I've developed. It takes a long time backing all up. Gigs and gigs. I need to start clearing it out a little bit. That's why I normally set for a Friday, because I just turn it off at the end of Friday and walk away. Doesn't matter if it takes 10 hours or 30 hours. It usually takes about 10 minutes. But don't forget, you've got news coming in at 10 a.m. as well. Consumer sentiment, we did talk about it earlier. I've not had any lunch today, so I'm going to eat my nuts. As in, like, these ones. Should have got popcorn for the show later. There's the bounce we're talking about on ES. Breaking out on the 2 minute. Massive big buying delta coming in.
Remember in the pre-market, my plan was this, quick reminder, it was 7,400 as a key area for me. It was a long above it or a short below it. I did try finding that short on order flow, breaking of that trend line down, didn't really work, but it did work on the 5 minute beautifully. Pulled back, that's the bounce, that's the long above 7,400, and then we shorted below. Look at that, or we didn't short, then it lost below. So that 7,400 was a key area today. It's a shame my platform buggered up and I couldn't take part. Buyers are definitely taking over at the moment. We got a massive amount of buying delta coming in. But we saw that short earlier, because remember I said look at the delta, that's why I went short, because a massive amount of aggressive sellers came in. I just wanted to jump in on that momentum. So I'm grateful at the end of the day green, but I'm not happy didn't do it in the way I wanted to do it. Do you know what? Right, let's see if it works now. Hopefully, platform will load. Four minutes until news, potentially IPO as well. Oh, here we go. Maybe that's another issue I had as well. I just had this pop up on my when I reloaded NinjaTrader. ES and MES rollover notification. So yes. So it's using the September contracts now. Not sure if that is another reason, but we're coming back in line again. So probably over the summer I'm gonna probably buy a couple more computers, keep one, just separate what I use them for. Sean says I'm not rolling until Monday. Craig says buyers and sellers are fighting. It appears to be. So Sean, do you mean Sean that you're not doing any trade until Monday? Right. Oh, sorry, not rolling. Sorry, I was thinking of other things. Not rolling to September contract till Monday. Yeah, not a bad idea. I'm not trading. I'm happy to watch what's going on now anyway. So if my price is sitting at 74.50, that means ES is probably a bit different. So ignore the numbers I say, as long as the patterns are the same. That fin, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So what are we getting? Slightly different numbers. 30 seconds till news. So just be aware of it in any trades, consumer sentiment. And then hopefully SpaceX kicks off as well. Be interested to see what happens. Look at that. Lots of volatility here. Nothing on my trading view chart at the moment, SpaceX. Craig says no trades for him today, which is good. Yep, A+ setups only. And then 212 says June expectation index rises to 49.3 versus 44. So that's a positive sign. Again, I don't really follow the news. All I need to know is when the news, I don't care what it means. All I need to know is when it happens, so I know not to be in trades. There's enough of my brain power being used reading order flow and understanding what the news means. That's why I like it when you come on and tell us. Hive community where we all share each other's brain power. Okay, so SpaceX chart's looking a bit blank at the moment. ES is coming into the orb point. The orb is in, by the way, I forgot to say. I wasn't. So I really do need to go very soon because I've got an hour to pack my camping stuff. 3 days worth of stuff. Two on two says we really bounced from 73.66. We did. Massive bounce. Didn't take it, needed a better touch of it for me to get in. Yeah, you don't, just because the levels, we've got levels in mind, don't always mean you need to take them. I agree. This is my hourly chart here. I was watching a similar level to you, 73, 75. Where did it get down to? 73, 76, 66. That's a good level down there, yeah. Coming into this area of confluence now. Look at the volume from the post market yesterday, Asian. So my candlestick's looking a bit thin volume because I rolled the contract. I just clicked the OK button. There's a lot more volume on the current contracts, but the patterns are the same. And as I said, I'm not trading anyway, so I wasn't too worried. Still nothing from SpaceX. Just waiting for Elon to press the
the release button. He's probably got a big lever. So looking at the other sectors while we're here, we've got Dow Jones. It's kind of retesting yesterday's high. Russell is looking a bit stronger, retesting today's high, getting close to it. Bitcoin is hovering around that 63,000 area. Gold looking like a downtrend, forming on the 50 or formed on the 15. Oil's looking a bit stronger, so maybe that's news related. And then SPX is everything's just sitting in that range at the moment, that 15-minute range. Um, 2 says, I do think we will come back down to 73.60. Not worried about this move. Yeah, exactly. Well, look at the chart. It's trending. So we put in a pre-market high around 5:30 a.m. Couldn't put in a new high around 8 a.m. Couldn't put in a new high around 9:30 a.m. And we're putting in lower lows as well. Lower lows, lower highs. So for me, while it's still in that trend, I like it. You could potentially draw a trend line in, which could be like that, something like that. It's just a quick, roughly drawn one. Yesterday's high, 74.80, could be a nice rejection point. Confidence area as well, pivots, and kind of that neck and head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, a double head, a break and retest, or whatever you want to see there. And then this could be the retest of the neckline, maybe. So we've got price putting in higher highs, Delta putting in lower lows. So not looking great for buying right now. Buyers absorbing all those sellers, but price is putting in new highs. I'll be back in a sec. Wow, look at that. Big aggressive move. Um, 2 says I'm really buying it now. It seems like that. And Craig says miss my entry at 442. Yeah, it doesn't really matter though. There's always other opportunities. Again, today is a recovery day from yesterday. Even though you made a lot of it back, you still need to reevaluate. So it doesn't matter if you missed it. Knowing that you had the level, you can put that down in your journal. I ticked off a level, you don't have to be in it just to be right. I was hoping we'd have something from SPACEX by now. I was quite interested to see what the opening candle looks like. But I will have to be calling it a day soon because I want to say hello to my kids before. I won't see them all weekend. And then I'm literally off to scout camp. I'm a scout leader at different scouts. The ones my kids go to, my local one. I also help out another scout nearby, but not the same one. SPACEX was halted, no reason given. Okay, thank you 212.
How can you halt something before it even trades? I told you, Elon Musk, he's waiting for the lever to pull the lever to start it. Or maybe they've got their trading terminals set up in space already, waiting for all the SPACEX satellites to kick in. I think SPACEX is going to be a good investment. I'm not looking to get in right now, but I definitely am looking to get in. So I want to see what happens over the next few days, maybe a week or so. Try and catch a pullback. See whether it's hype. If it's hype, then we might see it all sell off. If it's not hype, and there's a lot of big institutional buyers coming into it, billions and billions sold, and apparently it can make Elon Musk the first ever trillionaire today, maybe. Craig, don't look at the profit or what you missed. It's not, you didn't take it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to say I missed out on this or I missed on that or I potentially lost $1,300. Ignore it. Doesn't matter. You didn't take it. You don't even need to look at what profit it could have been. I could have dwelled on my short earlier when I said I'm going short now, and I probably could have retired on that short, but I don't really care. I got out of my. As soon as I saw an issue, I got out of the platform. There's issues going on, so I'm happy to drop the position, whether it's a winning or losing. It happened to be a winning position, but I dropped it anyway, and I won't look back. I don't care. So don't fret over something you can't control, basically. You're not in the trade, so you don't need to do anything other than watch for the next A+ setup. 212 says, Craig, don't FOMO. I agree. And he also says, listen to Paul. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a terrible mindset to have when trading indeed. Yeah, it's not important. Looking at P&L, getting it right is the most important thing. And that's why I don't look at my P&L anymore. I used to. I have my Rhythmic open purely for let me know if sometimes I get out of a trade, and like today I had an inversion, so I got out. I closed all my longs, all my shorts, and it put me in long all of them. So again, I don't know why it did that, but I'm willing just to get out of everything. But I have Rhythmic open, okay. But I've got all my charts on top of Rhythmic. So I purely just have to click on Rhythmic. I make it hard to see P&L. I'm not interested in P&L. I'm only interested in the process. Trust your process. Then you start trust your trading, and then you can start trusting your P&L later. Two and two says, rightly so as well, I called out my trade before it happened. I didn't get in, no big deal. Yep, exactly. Wait for the setup you wanted. Trade your setup with your rules, exactly. You can't fret over something you can't control. You can't control the market. You can't control not being if you're not in a trade, there's nothing to look at. There's nothing to even think about. But what you can do is put that down in your journal. I called a trade. This was the level. It got in. The exact setup. Why did I miss it? Explain why you missed it in your journal. Was it because you weren't paying attention, or you didn't have the confidence, or something else, or you hesitated? And then journal it as a winning trade, because it was a winning trade, but just not physically taken. Andrew says, nice ES rejection right at the previous day high. So I got a glare from my window on the bottom corner, so I can't see exactly. Previous day's high. It was, yeah. I do keep an eye on previous day high, but I usually watch that for a break and retest long
same as a previous day low. I like that for a break and retest short because it's going in the direction of yesterday's high or low. I generally don't watch for rejections, but I do watch for a reaction in those places. And if it's a scalp, it's a good scalp, but a massive rejection I found was good. And Craig says I was looking at a different chart. Oh, okay, you're looking at a different chart while you missed it. Okay, put it down as a platform usage error or something like that. Oh, it is a good. I'm interested to see how people journal. Time for another poll, then I'm going to go. Start a poll. Do you journal? So I'm going to do yes. No. Other. Please comment. Here we go. So I've done a poll here, and I'll be honest, I don't journal as much as I want to, but I do journal. I also use these videos to look back at my previous trades as well, which is kind of a live video journal as such. But I use TradeZella. I'm building my own journal actually. Hopefully I can release that to everyone soon. And I think my journal would be, it's always good having your own custom software, but my journal tool will let me copy in my footprint charts, order flow, make it really quick and easy to put my emotions in and anything else I want to capture as well, rather than just capturing the price, the entry, your stop. It will take a lot more into account, and then I want to use AI to analyze it all. Craig says no trades yet today. Good. It doesn't matter if you trade or not. So we've got some answers in the poll. There is 9 of us here at the moment, I think. So maybe we get a few more people clicking on there. Obviously not if it interferes with your trading. But it's interesting to see who journals, who doesn't. But I will. Here you go. I put other. I can't vote on my own poll, but I'm other, and I put it in the comments. And I really do recommend TradeZella. TradeViz is good as well. Been using that for some time, but I switched over to TradeZella because for me here in the UK, I seem to have it used to be really slow and sluggish at times, and so I got frustrated using it. It's a bit cheaper, but TradeZella is brilliant. If you don't journal, let me see if I've got a link. Here we go. It's an affiliate link, so obviously I make a little bit back from it if you use it. So full disclosure, that's the one. I recommend checking it out. TradeZella is brilliant. But I will have my own journal tool soon. I've started working on it. Like I said, I'm integrating my Footprint IQ tool, which integrates all my footprint charts. So I can analyze all my trades, all my order flow, because you can't get a journal that lets you analyze order flow easily. And that's why I'm looking to build my own. But TradeZella is a brilliant stopgap, worth it. even if you put it into a spreadsheet or into a Word document, another way of journaling is just create a screenshot, put it in your Google Drive or a online cloud store or on a folder on your computer, and then just put it in with or you use a Word document, put a screenshot in, and then put your comments in. Try and stick to a structure, you know, for example, put in your entry, your stop, why you took the trade, what the pattern you was looking for, the setup, the reason you got out, whether you hit target or you got out early or trailed out, and then any issues that affected you, and then just do a general comment on the trade. I find it hard journaling, coming up with comments, because I'm very technical minded. I find it hard journaling emotions because it's not part of my my mentality. I find myself quite an emotionless person. You know, I'm a programmer by trade. I'm a technician by trade, IT guy. So I'm good at technicals. I'm good at following a set procedure. You know, that's why I'm good at good at trading. I don't want to be big-headed. That's probably why I'm good at looking at footprint charts, because I'm analyzing data quickly, and I'm analyzing it, and I'm evaluating it in a technical mindset rather than an emotional mindset. Don't get wrong, emotions do creep in, and over trading, FOMO, anger and aggression. I've gone through all that. But now, just by journaling, just by talking on here as well, having an audience, having accountability, especially if you're online, like Craig yesterday admitted what he did, and we all chipped in and helped out, and then just having some sort of accountability is the biggest thing you can do to your trading, and that's why it's good on here, because everyone helps each other. We're still smack bang inside that opening range. Volumes getting less. We had a massive big wide range 5-minute candle, 15-minute candle actually, which is the same amount of volume as the previous smaller range candle. So showing a bit of weakness from buyers. And I'm very close to calling it a day for myself, because I've really got to start packing my camping stuff. I'm leaving in 40 minutes. And it's a scalp thing, so I've got to get down there early to help out. And they've been there since 2, so I feel bad. Well, I don't feel bad, I've volunteered, but I feel bad enough I've left them. I could have got down at 2, helped set up things, but hopefully they've done all the hard work and I'll just turn up and say, yeah, I'll set the campfire up, the exciting stuff. So, but I was kind of hoping something will happen with SpaceX. You know, the moment I say I'm off will be the moment SpaceX kicks in. I'm not too fussed about, like I said earlier, I'm not fussed about how SpaceX, I just want to see the opening candle. That's all I want to see. I want to see how hype affects the open. That's all it is. I'm not going to take part in it. I have no interest in taking part in it. I just want to see what it opens at, what the price is. I like to say my prediction, but it's a guess really, so I don't really know. But I reckon it's going to spike up, people buy in, get excited on the opening candle, and then sell off. I was interested to see how it affects the rest of the market. That's kind of why I was more interested. But anyway, I'm real call it a day now. I'm happy to leave my order flow running. I won't be around to turn it off. No, tell you what, I will stop this stream in a minute, and then I'll give you the link to the main NQ and ES, because there's no point. I've got the new contracts on here. Let me just put a link in. Don't forget, I will be away next week from Wednesday to the following Wednesday, away for a week. So I will try and jump in on the Discord occasionally. I'll try maybe jump in, comment if there's any comments or any questions on the other YouTube channel, but I won't be actively monitoring it. Here's the link for the ES and NASDAQ order flow, which has got the old contract in the about to say March contracts to June contracts. On my screen we've got the September contracts, and I probably updated them a bit too early, but there's nothing going on at the moment. There's nothing. We're inside the range. Not even a good trading day. So I'm going to call it a day. Thank you to everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, 212, and everyone else. And I will see you on Monday. So remember, if you do take a trade, A++ setups only. That's all we want. Let's just close this poll. See where we ended. So the poll results are 60% of people who commented out of 5 say they don't journal, 40% say they do. So the 60% of you who don't, I really do recommend doing some sort of journal, whether it's handwritten. You know, I used to have a, I think I've still got it. That's probably gone now. Stayed. Here we go. I put this on Amazon. It's not a sale, by the way. I don't use it. It's a written. It's a journal. It's a whole year's worth of journaling, and each page looks a bit like that. Hello. So I recommend, even if you buy this on Amazon, you got a trade. Here we go. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got a checklist. I don't know if you can see that on the side. I'm not sure whether you can see this at all. Not even too close. And then at the end of the week, this is. You got your trading goals, you got your levels and notes, and you got your trading goals each week, and that repeats all the way through the book. You've got, what's really good about it is after your trading goals, you've got your emotions where you can check what your emotions add, and it gives you a list of them like patient, precise, calm, confident, very relaxed, trusting gut. This is your A game. If you watch Jared Tendler, he talks about the A, B, C game. And the B game is focus on P&L, overthinking, not confident, etc. Reacting slower. Like maybe today, Craig, you could say you could select that one there. Reacted slower to the market. You missed your trade. And C game, this is the one you want to watch the most. Distracted, revenge trade, risk averse and hesitant, forcing trades, overtrade, stress, greedy, negative self-talk, self-doubt, trading P&L. Do you recognise some of them? I'm not going to say any names, but that's why it's probably a good thing to write down. So that's what I put for emotions. Then you can do your trading performance. So I'll share a link. I'll dig out a link and I'll share it. It's good having this. I used to write in this every single day. I have it right next to me on my desk. But obviously now I automate my trading and I use TradeZella. But this is a cheap alternative. And then you got your performance you can do, and you can judge your performance at the end of every week. So I really do recommend it. And then you end it with a weekly review. And then you can look back on it. You know what? I might start writing in this again. Nothing quite. I swapped this for a digital tablet for writing, so I can store it digitally. But I might go back to using that. So if you're on Amazon, Market Mastery Trading Journal. I can't remember. It's not a great deal. I don't think it's much, but worth every penny if you're not trading. Anyway, on that note. I will see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Appreciate everyone. Oh, thank you, Mo, as well. Appreciate you as well. Thanks for watching.